actually go. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Steve Owens, your tournament director for the Yamaha Right Waters Bassmaster Kayak Series. We're here in Shreveport, Louisiana. We're at the Louisiana Downs Casino and Racetrack where we've been all week preparing for this. We've got to give a huge thank you to Shreveport Bossier Sports Commission for bringing us down here. The KBF Trail, the Hobie Bass Open Series, they've all come to Caddo and Bistineau, and it's for a reason. The fishing down here is spectacular. It's seasonal sometimes of the year, but they still have to either eat or react because you've made them angry casting at them. And so the anglers took, prime opportunity this week. Cold front came in, kind of, threw them for a little bit of a loop. But that's what we as spectators love, is watching the challenge within the challenge. It's not that fishing is easy, but when they're eating, it's kind of easy. But when it's not, that's what separates the men and women who get to come up on stage continuously, is finding that reason you get your fish to bite when others can't. And so that's interesting to follow on everyone's social media. So as you see these anglers come up and get their names, look them up on their Instagrams and Facebooks and YouTube channels. Our sport has found ways to monetize this for our men and women as they travel. And it's important to them that you follow them. It doesn't take much time. And you never know what you're going to discover. It leads you to adventures in places like Shreveport that you may have never have thought of coming to. So just continue that support, and we'll continue to try to get those out there and advance the anglers as much as we can at Bassmaster. It's a great platform. We've got to give a huge thank to Yamaha Right Waters, our title sponsor, for being back this year. The Dakota Lithium Angler of the Year prize, which will be awarded here very soon. We've got Yak Gear, Motor Guide as partners, as well as Tourney X, which is what we're scored on. So a huge thank you to them. I want to thank Mark Cisneros for taking, literally this series to another level with the photography that he gets out and does. And so just like to give a quick moment of prayer, if you don't mind. And if you're not a praying person, just have a moment of silence if you don't care. Father, we thank you for this weekend. We thank you for the men and women who were able to get here. We thank you for the nation that we're in. Thank you that we have the men and women who support us to have our freedoms, and just ask that you minister to our hearts here. And as we leave, be with all of our safety and our friends and family at home. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right. We talked about, the anglers, which is why we're here. Other than the fish, like Drew Gregory always says, the fish is the star of the show. But we look at what you guys do, and y'all do a great job doing it. So we had 194 people from 33 states fish. We had an event this year. Lake Murray was 258. Gunnersville was 211. Possum Kingdom was 174. Susquehanna was 224. So that landed us at almost a 212 average. But this event, we had 33 states represented, including, I believe, 7 anglers drove up from Mexico. I've mentioned before, Mexico is working on a Bass Nation series to help those anglers be able to qualify and fish the championship in the States, as they call it. So continue to look out for that. Those guys are really amped up about it. We've had the U.S. fishing team has traveled to other countries to fish and promote the sport, and I know they've been down there for that, and that's been a really good thing to see across the community. So appreciate Shreveport again. What the anglers fish for in these series are the top 5 that you'll see at the end of this. They qualify automatically for the Bassmaster Kayak Series Championship, which is held in conjunction with the Bassmaster Classic every year. This coming season next season, 2025, we'll be fishing this championship in the Dallas-Fort Worth area on Lake Fork. We're really excited to give the men and women an opportunity to fish such a substantial lake for their championship. Other than the prize pool of $36,000 this weekend, you're competing for that Dakota Lithium Angler of the Year race and points, because we award from the top 50. Those anglers make the championship spot as well. This weekend, the judging staff scored, nearly 1,700 fish. But we're going to go ahead and get down to the Dakota Lithium Angler of the Year winner. That person's taking home $5,000. We've got the standings. They'll be updated later in the week, but we went ahead and did the top anglers and pooled everyone. So in fifth place from Massachusetts is Derek Brundle with 707 points. Derek, if you're watching, go Yanks. My team made the World Series. I'm pretty happy with that. In fourth place from Mississippi, Clint Pippen had 709 points. In third place from Ohio, Jason Isaacs had 711 points. And in second place was Casey Reed with 717. And in first place with 730 points, Tennessee's Russ Sniders. I'll start calling you MJ. You get these. Got a three-peat coming up next. He's won championships. He's won back-to-back Angler of the Year. So, just talk about what it means to you, Russ.
It means a lot. I've been fishing my whole life and fishing competitively for a while, and just to be able to travel the country and go all these amazing fisheries, and such an amazing schedule that you put together. And I'm just really grateful to be just doing what I love and sharing the experience with a lot of good friends and my fellow anglers here. I've made so many friends through the kayak fishing community, so I'm just really grateful for that, and grateful for all the work that you put into Steve-O and Bassmaster, an opportunity that they give us to compete. Yeah.
Thank you, man. We appreciate you. Got anybody that helped made it possible for you all season long?
Yeah.
I mean, you travel a lot.
Fishing out of the new kayak this year is the Bonafide PWR. It's been amazing. It's powered by the Torpedo, and just there isn't a single thing about that kayak that that I could change or improve, or I really just in love with that kayak. And yeah, it's attributed to most of my success this year, as well as the RVR. Use that up in Susky. Then all my Dakota Lithium, of course, for everything that they do for all of the anglers. A lot of my friends here, and sponsoring Bassmaster. They've done a lot for the kayak community, so I'd like to thank them. Yak Attack, iRod, Music City Outdoors, Catch Outdoors, and forgetting one, but yeah. I'd like to thank all of them. Without them, none of this would be possible. So I'm just really grateful for all their help, and all my friends and family for their support too.
Thank you, Russ. Appreciate you, man. Good job. As you've seen, we in the past, we personalized their Angler of the Year trophy with the events they fished in place. So Russ will get that on the Bassmaster Classic stage in March. Getting into the rest of the money winners for this weekend, we've got a $500 Big Bass prize. We had quite a few tanks caught, as our buddy Raymond Jones back home calls them, Hogzillas. Taking home $500. We had a tie with a 22 3/4 inch bass for the weekend, but the tiebreaker was a 22 1/4 inch bass. So Jody Queen takes home $500. Eric Siddiqui also caught a 22 3/4. You also have a catch medallion there, Jody. Appreciate it, man. Good to see you. Good to see you, man. We'll let you talk about your big fish. We might probably see you up here again. So,
well, I'm really surprised because there's so many big fish in Caddo and Bistineau. I figured a 24 get caught. I think Russ caught a 24 in practice. So
right.
But yeah, I'm surprised. But man, I caught so many big fish this week. It's just been an amazing week, and I've got so much good footage of big fish, and I just can't wait to get it all together and get it out there. And this is a great start.
Yeah. Well, what'd you catch that particular big fish on?
I caught it on the new Evo tungstens that the Z-Man has out right now. Man, they are legit. They got a little tighter wobble. They're kind of like a full size mini max,
right?
And man, they caught all my fish this week.
You think it's the cooling temperatures? Because like we all know, crankbaits, we like a tighter wobble when it gets colder. Do you think maybe that's
why? Well, in the hot, since you say that, in the hotter part of the week when we first got here, it's mostly just a fast crank, and today and yesterday I noticed I had to slow down quite a bit to get my bites, and actually today I was actually just yo-yoing the same bait most of the day, and that's what the 22 quarter came on today late. Is just letting it hit bottom, yo-yo it up, let it hit bottom, yo-yo it up, and reel it, and just mix it all up.
Yeah.
It seemed to work out pretty good for me.
All right, man. We appreciate you, Joe.
Thank you.
These next anglers, if you would, just line up next to Brad over there, if you don't mind. Lance Burus, Adam Patron. I apologize, Adam. Sit back down for now, please. Brian Howell, Christine Fisher, Drew Gregory. All right, in 19th place, taking home $525 with 181 1/4 inches from Missouri, Lance Burus. Good job, Lance. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Let you talk about your weekend and what it took to get you up here, and how what you've enjoyed the most about your season.
I mean, it's been fun hitting some of the different lakes. Did quite a bit of traveling. About lost my voice today.
I can hear that.
But this week has been, I feel like every time I come to Texas, it ices or frost or something, not warm.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a fun week. Caught big fish every day we've been here in practice. Caught a decent limit, just not quite what I wanted yesterday, and made a small change and kind of upgraded quite a bit today. Lost some big ones today that would have helped out quite a bit, but just grateful to stay in the check line and finish how we did.
All right, man. What are you fishing next? You got anybody you want to thank back home?
Big Bass 250 next weekend on Saturday on Lake the Ozarks. It's still open to register. I think. Yeah. But
yeah, I'm going to fish it. I was going to hit you up for some information, but I don't guess I will now because you're not going to give me anything. So,
yeah, it's fishing a little tough right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to thank Kiss the Rods, Bonafide, Croc Gator, of course, family for just letting me come out and do this, and wife and kids just kind of holding everything down at home.
All right, man. We appreciate you.
Yep.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Take care. All right, we had a tie for 17th place with 183 1/2 inches. This angler lost the tiebreaker to a 20 3/4. So for taking home $536 from Texas, Brian Howell. See you, man. Brian, it's not that often you lose a tiebreaker for somebody catches a bigger bass than you, what I'm trying to say. But let you talk about your weekend and just give any thanks you need to.
It was a fun weekend. I just flipped a jig mostly, caught two kind of random ones on a spinnerbait today, and it was a blast, honestly. I haven't fished Bistineau before. That's where I fished today.
Mm-hmm.
I fished Caddo plenty of times. I felt like, for at least me, I wasn't getting bigger fish on Caddo, so I just went with Bistineau this weekend. And I'd like to thank my family, my friends, and Dakota Lithium, Dobbins Rods, Mariner Sales, and Newport.
All right, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Good to see you. Coming out on the good end of that tiebreaker, taking home $550 from Nebraska, Christine Fisher. See you, pal. How you doing?
Good.
All right. Let you talk about your time on Caddo, Bistineau down here in Shreveport, and just give anybody thanks you need to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this, when I saw this on the schedule, I was pretty stoked because we fished a tournament here several years ago, and it was some of the best fishing, right in my wheelhouse. Absolutely love these fisheries. They're aesthetically really pleasing. It's fun, big, angry swamp bass, and I was right at home.
Yeah.
I didn't have the day I wanted to have today. Didn't fish very clean, but honestly can't complain. What an amazing week. I just want to thank the Tourism Bureau for having us here. I know how important that is to us as kayak anglers in our series. I want to thank the good Lord above just for the people in this room, for the directors, and just for the ability to have these tournaments here. Gotta thank my family. I know they're watching, and all my sponsors.
All right. Well, you mentioned today wasn't what you wanted. Yesterday, you we had talked and before here, and you had 98 3/4, and you don't know how you got that yesterday. And what happened today that made it dip? Did you fish the same water?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, the day one, I knew in my head, I knew I was going to get somewhere between 96 and about 102. That's kind of how just gauging from practice. That's kind of how I thought it would be. I only caught 8 fish over 19 that first day. So that got me a little nervous. There was a lot of pressure. And the second day, there was more people in the areas. So I think just a combination of pressure, and I just did not. I don't think I adapted. I should have probably went and fished some new water, but I tried to just make it happen and didn't. That's okay though.
All right. Well, sometimes you swing. You settled for something comfortable today. If you'd have stretched your neck out, you might not have made it. So it
True.
was the right call, and then you ended up where you're supposed to be, evidently. So we appreciate you
Yes,
and the spokesperson you are. So
Thanks, Steve-O.
appreciate you. That's something we carry on about. We travel to these bucket list lakes, and it's sort of a vacation for the anglers to get to travel. But for these lakes to put out what they did with the kind of pressure of 194 people practicing and just wrecking them, which I can't fault you. I would catch 1 or 2 and move on too, but to continue to have these kind of bags after all of that speaks volumes to this area. So bringing up next in 16th place, taking home $575 from Ohio with 183 3/4, Drew Gregory. All right, man. You got your third event in?
I did. Finally got 3 in. So.
All right. So obviously you've qualified because, man, if you didn't know, won our championship earlier on 10 Killer.
I didn't know how to qualify.
Yeah. The champion the year of gets to go to the next year. So we appreciate you coming out and supporting us. And maybe I gave away my secret. Maybe you wouldn't have showed up if you knew you already qualified.
I would have definitely showed up, man. This
All
place
right.
is unreal. Both these lakes are just incredible. And, huge thanks, like Christine said, to Shreveport, Bossier City, and all you guys for having us here. It's a very good choice.
All right, man. Well, everybody says put this on the list every year, just like Susquehanna. So we'll see what we can do about that. But we'll let you talk about your weekend. Again, you had, like Christine and a few others before, a better limit yesterday than you did today. Same area, same pattern kind of thing? Your fish had just downsized? Or?
Yeah, I was a little torn what to do originally. Caddo, Bistineau, had good history on both places, but I decided, I had 2 days of practice just to go to Bistineau and some areas I'd fished before, and back of the NC that was here. And I knew the size really wasn't there in the past to really win this thing. I knew further down is probably where I needed to go, but I was in the upper end and the kind of the swamp. But I just love it. I enjoyed it, and went up there and did really good yesterday. And top end fish, I think, was like 21. So I thought I'll just try it again, and kind of expanded, fished some new water, and just couldn't really find a bigger fish. A lot of it just dead ends, but it was fun. The coolest part of my weekend, honestly, was the fish. All my biggest fish came on a bait that I designed. That's not like, a spinner bait or some bait that I jig or something I tied. It's literally a whole other category bait that no one's ever seen before. And Z-Man's working on prototypes of it right now. And I can't really say much about it or talk about it because it's like proprietary stuff. So hopefully, Lord willing, it'll be out there one day. But it was just so cool. It's like you can work it on top or underneath, and it was just so cool to see them eat something that that I just came up with, and it just actually works. I was shocked. So I got it on video, so I was pretty excited about that. So yeah, and of course getting my third event, seeing how high I ended up. I knew I couldn't get to Russ even if I won, but I wanted to see how high I ended up and at least try to get in that top 10 after having a first and a fourth in AOY last year and first the year before. So
yeah,
we'll
I think
see.
you ended up with 706. I think you were sixth. I
Sixth
don't
place.
have it. Sassy Dan's
So-
got it in the laptop, but we'll have that out this
Cool.
week. So congratulations on that. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Anybody
Steve.
you want to thank? before we get
Just
out of
my
here?
family back home, Christina for watching the kids. They had pneumonia, actually, one of them
Ooh.
when I left, so it was actually hard to kind of leave. But she does an amazing job with the kids. Just thank God for creating such an incredible place. I mean, I've seen this meteor go by every night, this crazy thing that's been happening, and just the star. You see so many more stars here. It's just beautiful where we're at. And just want to thank my sponsors. I can't list them all. Don't want to list them all, waste time, but definitely want to thank Z-Man and Torpedo, Crescent Kayaks, Real Tree Fishing, GoPro, Yak Attack, just to name a few. And appreciate everybody for following along and all you guys here. Great job, everyone. Proud to be here with you guys.
Thank you, man. Good to see you.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, next anglers, if you'd come up here and stand next to Adam Patron. Stay there, Adam. Stay there. Sorry, brother. All right, Eric Siddiqui, Damon Henderson, Jason Isaacs, Joe Lanzotti. All right, in 15th place, taking home $600 from Texas with 184.5 inches, Joe Lanzotti. Good to see you, Joe.
Hey, good to see you too.
All right, man. How are you?
I'm good.
All right. Let you talk about your weekend, what it took to get you the limits you got. You had 90 yesterday and upgraded to 94 today. So,
Yeah, it was just a grind. I don't think I did anything special. Just one tree after the next on Bistineau. What's kind of neat is I'm from here, grew up fishing these lakes, brim fishing, and mostly with my dad, a little P-row type boat. And so being able to come back, I think I do 2 tournaments a year now with kids and wife. And so being able to be here and see good friends and make new memories, it's always fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
You want to talk about how you caught them and anybody you want to thank?
I don't have any sponsors. Well, I guess Trey Kistler does let me have a little bit of a discount. So thank you, Trey, with Kistler rods. But speedworm, chatterbait, spinnerbait.
Yeah.
I mean, just grinding.
Yeah.
Trying to
and
keep
repeat.
Gene out of my spot most of the time.
Tasers on these kayaks.
Yeah.
All right. But Yak Attack's got the, no, I can't say it. Never mind. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you got anybody you want to thank back home?
Well, of course, my wife, she affords me the opportunity to do this. She's getting her master's right now, so she's studying.
Yeah.
Boys are in homeschool, and so it was tough to be away, but this is worth it, making memories with all of you guys and gals. So, yeah, good times.
Good, man. Good to meet you, and thank you,
Steve.
Appreciate you. All right, next in 14th place, taking home $625 from Georgia with 185 inches, Damon Henderson. Damon, we appreciate you being here. We know the effort it takes for everybody to travel like they do. You just recently were one of the ones that, fished the USA kayak fishing I was talking about earlier. I just want to let you talk about your weekend here in Shreveport and you can give any thanks you need to, man.
Yeah, I had a really good weekend. I didn't get here till Thursday morning. I wasn't even really planning on fishing this tournament because I was going to go up north and fish the native tournament. But Gene talked me into coming here instead because he said it was too cold up there. So I figured I'd come down here where it was a little bit warmer. He was wrong about that because it was super cold in the morning. But I only really had one day of really pre-fishing, and it was the day before the tournaments, and I shook off like, I don't know, probably 30, 40 fish, and they felt really good. And then I found out the reason why they felt really good because I caught over 100 inches in bowfin. So, but I couldn't get on anything else like spinnerbaits, chatterbaits. I threw it in this year. It's Hartwell, so hopefully I'll get to see you there. But other than that, it's a great tournament. Really proud of how I did. Wasn't really expecting to do as good as I did.
And enjoyed the nightlife. Checked out some of the casinos and stuff. That was a good time. The fishing's great. Had a blast all week. I've been here before. The NC was awesome. So I fished Bistineau. It's where I fished the NC a few years ago, and it was a good time. So, I fished a little bit differently than everybody else, though. I fished pretty much 3 docks the entire tournament. That's what every one of my fish came off of. All of them came on a jig. The first day I lost a couple of good ones, so changed to a skipping jig today. And there was one dock I never got to fish that had crappie steaks on it, and there was a crappie fisherman on it every time I came by. So came by today and saw it, and it was open, and went over and caught a 22 3/4 off it. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, it was a good tournament. I enjoyed it.
All right, man. We appreciate it. Anybody you want to thank back to the house?
Yeah. Thank Dakota Lithium and Fishing Online, rest of my sponsors. Thank my mom for taking care of the boys at home, and yeah, that's about it.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
Good to
thank
see you.
Yeah.
Thank you. In 12th place, taking home $750 from Kentucky with 188 1/4 inches, Adam Patron. Good to see you, Adam. See you, man. Well, I'll let you talk about your weekend and give any thanks you need.
Yep. So I had a great week down here. Finally got to pre-fish for about 5 days. So got to explore a bunch of new water that I'd fished previously. I could not get on a moving bait bite to save my life. So I caught almost everything on a shaky head. Usually I throw the wacky, but for some reason the shaky head worked out for me this week. I was making long runs. Every spot that I had was probably 1 to 2 miles away. So I just had to put the Dakota Lithium. I put a 110 amp-hour battery on the boat, and we just went. So it was a good time.
Yeah.
I love coming down here to Caddo. It's my favorite place to fish.
Absolutely, man. Well, you got anybody you want to thank? I know
I
you
got to
mentioned
thank
Dakota.
Jackson Kayak, Rogue Fishing, Yak Attack, Dakota Lithium, One Objective Fishing, and Crota's Custom Rods.
Yeah.
So,
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you coming, man.
Thanks.
Thank you. It's good to see you again. All right, in 11th place, taking home $925, another Ohio angler, Jason Isaac, with 190 inches. See you, man. We got to come up with a cool nickname for Poor Mouther, because this man's always never catching them in practice, and then this is the second time this year he's been up here doing really well.
Oh no, I caught him in practice.
Well,
Yeah,
you were talking about the other one?
No, the other one was bad.
Gotcha. Okay,
it was really
man.
bad.
Well, congratulations, dude. You know, just to give you guys what Jason did, he caught 92 3/4 yesterday, 97 today. So what did it take to make it happen for you this weekend?
You know, all week I caught fish on a Fatty Z and a Z-Man spinnerbait, and yesterday they wouldn't touch either one of them, so I had to start throwing a rattle trap, which I love that bite. That's a fun bite, you know. And then this morning I had a 20 get off first thing in the morning, and I had like an 18 something get off, and I thought this is probably going to end pretty bad. And it was a struggle for most part of the day, like up until about 2 hours left. I think that's when I finally got my limit, and it was small. It was like I had a 12 and 2 14s in there, and I think towards the end of the day there, I caught I think in the last 45 minutes, I caught an 18 3/4, a 19 1/2, and a 19 3/4. The 19 3/4 was like 10 minutes left, I think. It was pretty exciting. I didn't think I was going to be up here. You know, I don't ever think I'm going to make it up here, but it's always it feels good when I do make it up here because I don't ever think I'm going to. So,
yeah. Well, man, we appreciate you. Got anybody you want to give thanks to there?
Yeah, my dad for being here with me for sure. Everybody that loves and supports me. You know, it's an amazing feeling to have people out there like that. Z-Man, Fishing Online, and Dakota Lithium.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you making the run this year. We'll see you,
Absolutely.
I guess, we'll see you early next year.
Yep.
See you early, man. Be safe. Thank you. All right, we'll call up these next anglers. If you don't mind, stand over there next to Brad. Go with Jason Willis, Clint Pippen, Dwayne Dwyer, Brett Hotard, and Garrett Wade. All right, man, we want to call up from Mississippi, taking home $1,130 with 191 1/4 inches, Clint Pippen. Good to see you, Clint. Got you another check for this year.
Yeah.
We'll let you talk about your weekend. And another one who I don't think you did real well in practice, and you was kind of stressing, and then here it goes.
I mean, it's weird because normally I only find my fish on the last day of practice, but this year I find it on the first day and leave them completely alone and then go back and catch them. So, I mean, and the fish I was catching were pressured because it was about a mile of creek channel right at the boat route. So everybody, including boats, were fishing it. I just fished it a little different, fishing the wake bait in 6 to 8 foot of water on wood.
Yeah.
I mean, I was throwing so close to the trees that I even told a guy at the boat ramp I felt like I was throwing knives at the trees because I was hitting the trees with a crankbait and it would stick. the hooks would stick in it, and I'd have to go get it off. But it just seemed like the closer I'd get to the trees, every time I'd catch a good one. So
Yeah.
just a different, I guess, something different that they wasn't seeing.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a recipe for dull hooks. Did you lose any?
No, I actually didn't lose a fish at all. Both 2 days.
Wow, that's great.
I did during practice, but I switched a rod and found a new crankbait rod. So
Yeah.
hadn't missed one since. So.
Give any tips on the crankbait rod, or is that one you
Well, it
hold
was
to
actually a
yourself?
jerkbait rod. It was,
Yeah.
I went to a shorter rod because I wasn't casting very far. It had a shorter handle and ended up being better than my crankbait rod.
Oh wow, yeah.
So, and it's just a short, like a 610, and it's a light, so it's a jerkbait rod. And
You're a lot more accurate with that too.
yeah.
Okay. Well, man, we appreciate you coming. You had a very consistent 95 1/4 and a 96. We appreciate you. Congratulations on the top 5 in the AOY too, man.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you. All right, in 9th place, taking home $1,232 from Louisiana with 192 3/4, Breck Hotard. Breck's good meeting you, man. We'll let you talk about your weekend and give any thanks you need to.
I want to thank my wife, Sean Hotard. I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, hey man, that's all right.
Anyways, my weekend went pretty good. I've never fished Bistineau. This past weekend was my first time, and I fished Caddo pre-fishing, and I was like, I need to go look at Bistineau, and I caught all my fish in Bistineau.
Yeah.
On a Zoom claw, and flipping and pitching all day, and I fished clean, caught all my fish. Day one, I caught all my fish early, around 8 o'clock, and then I called a couple. This morning, I caught, the bite completely changed. I was catching some good fish, but I fell short at the end.
Yeah.
So, but that's about it.
Well, man, you did a great job. We appreciate you coming out fishing, and hopefully we can see you next year.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate you. In 8th place, taking home $1,332 with 194 1/2 inches, Garrett Wade. Garrett, you're one of those guys that got a 100 bag yesterday. We'll let you talk about yesterday and today and what the difference was for you.
Yeah, so when this one came out on the schedule, this was the one tournament that I was like, I'm definitely going back to Caddo and Bistineau in the fall. It's a magical place. I've only gotten 100 inches twice before this weekend. Once was last week in a tournament, and my goal this week was to get one of those 200 trophies. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I knew this was one of those places we could make it happen. I fished hard yesterday, and the fish were in an area that I'd found them at a previous tournament, and did really well yesterday. Caught everything on a jackhammer. I was headed back to my starting spot, and I was talking to the Lord, and I was like, I'm grateful for what I've got, but I really need a big fish. And I'm easing down the bank, and I'm like, those trees look about right. And I eased over there, made 3 or 4 casts, and caught a 21. So that was a bonus fish. I'll take no credit for that one. But anyway, yeah, so yesterday I got 101. Today the bite was a lot tougher. Still caught him on a jackhammer. Just couldn't find enough big fish.
Yeah. Well, man, you got anybody you want to give thanks to?
Yeah, so mainly, first off, my wife. I've been gone off and on probably almost a month straight, so I really appreciate her letting me come do this. And then dugout bait and tackle, Hobie fishing, Gorilla Grip gloves, Dakota Lithium, and I'm sure there's a couple of others, but I'm really grateful for all of them.
All right, man, we appreciate you. We look forward to your recap.
Yep.
Good to see you. All right, we had a tie for 6th place. 21 1/4 inch was the tiebreaker big fish. So in 7th place with $1,432 from Florida, Dwayne Dwyer with 194 3/4. All right, man. Yeah, gotta let you go over your weekend. Give anybody thanks you need to.
Awesome week. We showed up here about Tuesday. It was great fishing on Tuesday, and then the cold front came in and kind of changed everything. Caught them on a little bit of everything: spinner baits, speed worms, jackhammer, frog. What happened today, I got kind of lucky today with the frog bite. Just turned on in the afternoon. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. I mean, it got hot. But basically today was kind of like how it was on Tuesday. It was kind of warm.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured that topwater bite would probably make kick back on. And just had an awesome week. I don't know. It's great fishing here. Did the NC here about 3 years ago. Did pretty good in it. Great fishing. Also, it's birthday week and everything, and just awesome time. Got my buddies; they all came down, and we just had an awesome week. I don't know.
That's great, man. You got anybody you want to give thanks to at home?
Oh yeah, I want to give thanks to my impatient, or well, just my
Watch it.
Okay. My wife Summer or whatever. So
Yeah.
she, she was excited and everything. She wanted to be here and all that with
Yeah.
us, but she had to work like working people have to do. So, but that's it. I don't really have any sponsors.
Yep.
Southern Slayers, that's our team. We just run around and smash bass. I mean, that's all I got to say.
All right, man. Good job.
All right, thank you, sir.
You about stepped in a hole. We can't alienate the support system at home. I've got a good wife too that backs me up, so I don't want to. All right, in 6th place from Texas, taking home $1,532 with 194 3/4 and that 21 1/4 inches, Jason Willis. Yes, it's kind of like getting it wrong when someone's a Marine and you say another thing. Yeah, I apologize for that. So from Louisiana, I know you fished yesterday in the state championship, did really well. So I'll let you talk about your weekend and give any thanks you got, buddy.
First of all, I want to give thanks to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Without him, I wouldn't be here. Before this event, I prayed really hard to have a really good finish, and he really blessed me this weekend. So if any of you don't know Jesus Christ, I implore you to seek him, and I promise you your life will change. I came here Wednesday, practice, and I had a spot that I had fished about a month ago, and I thought it was really going to show up for me, and there was nothing there. They were gone. And so I started looking around, finding similar areas, and stumbled up on a couple fish that were over 20 inches in practice. And went back on Friday and checked the spot, pulled up there, first cast, 21 1/4 in practice. So I was like, okay. Went to another spot that I had and caught 2 over 20 there in practice. I was like, okay, practice is over for me. And so I basically fished, my primary spot was about 40 feet square. I put my boat on spot lock and didn't move. And I caught everything on day one right there, throwing a Cinco. Tried that today, caught 2 fish, and there was nothing else there. And I had to go find new water. Picked up a couple good ones, and I had one small one that I really needed to cull, and I just couldn't cull it.
Yeah.
Ran out of time.
Well, we appreciate you. I know you work a funky schedule. We appreciate you taking the time and being here and fishing this weekend and sharing it. Appreciate your testimony. And you got anybody else you want to give thanks to before you get out of here?
Yeah, I want to thank my wife back home, Brandy. She supports me whenever I travel to do this. She holds everything down. I want to thank my sponsors, Daiwa, Impulse Fishing Rods. I caught everything on medium heavy Impulse Original Series rod. It worked phenomenal. 6 Sense Fishing, Waterland Sunglasses, Rambo Outdoors back home, Talon Fishing Unlimited. They're right there in Milam, Texas on Toledo Bend. They supply me with all my spinner baits and jigs. And I want to thank my brother. He lives here locally, and he let me crash at his place, and he fed me well this week.
All right. Well, thank you, man. Good to see you. All right, these next 5, if you wouldn't mind, come over by Brad, and then as you come up with your check, grab your hardware there, please. All right, we go with Abby Abendanza, Guillermo Gonzalez, Matthew Scotch, Jody Queen, and Gene Jensen. All right, and these 5 anglers will qualify, if they haven't already, for the Bassmaster Series Championship next year on Lake Fork. So in 5th place with 195 inches, taking home $1,782, Guillermo Gonzalez.
How's it going?
Congratulations, man. Grab your hardware from
hardware.
man there. By the way, Daniel Davis, Brad is way better at these checks than I am. I butcher that at home when we do Bass Nation all the time. So, Guillermo, man, congratulations on a weekend. You had, an amazing day on day 1. I know you catch several 100-inch bags, but to do it this weekend with a pressured lake like we talked about and this many anglers, just what did that mean to you, and just everything you need to say in your recap here?
Goodness, it meant so much. I mean, it's already been said so many times. These fisheries are just so much fun. But if I'm being honest, I never really felt like I had it figured out this week, ever. Yesterday, I kind of figured I'd have to figure it out as I go. And the whole first half of my day just did according to how practice went, things just seemed to be changing every day. The whole first half of my day didn't go anything like I thought it would based on what my practice was like. And so I had to make a lot of adjustments. I'm proud of myself. I made some really great adjustments and made a lot of calls late in the day. Yeah. But unfortunately, we got a little bit of a weather change today, and the wind quit blowing, and I had kind of a power fishing bite going. I caught every single fish on day 1 on a homemade spinnerbait, and today I caught every single fish that I scored on on the new Buckeye Thump jig, with a flapping hog trailer. And if you haven't tried that combo, you got to try it. It's pretty awesome. But anyways, I had to make some adjustments. I mean, of course, I didn't have the day that I would have liked to have, but I'm still proud of myself for making those adjustments and salvaging a good day and a good finish. And honestly, I was kind of sweating making the championship.
Yeah.
I put up a 0 on my home lake of Possum Kingdom this year, and I didn't get any points. And I thought, man, I better catch them on Caddo Bistineau if I'm going to make it. So I'm just absolutely thrilled to have made it and get to fish Lake Fork next year. It's going to be a ball.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you, man. We'll let you give your thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, first and foremost, I got to thank good Lord for just giving me the opportunity to do this and for creating these incredible places, and for giving us tournament directors like Steve-O and just all these and this amazing trail. I mean, it's been such a fun year. I already can't wait till next year. But of course, I want to thank all my amazing sponsors. I want to thank my family back home, and I really want to thank Joe Lanzotti's family.
Yeah.
They housed us this year for this tournament, and my goodness, did they feed us well. Golly, man, good Cajun people. I have such a heartfelt appreciation for Cajuns.
You had plenty of carb
ever
loading.
since I met Joe. So yeah, I just really want to give them a huge thank you, and of course Joe and all of you for just making up such a great kayak fishing community.
Man, we appreciate you. That's awesome. Thank you, Guillermo.
Appreciate it.
Good to see you. In 4th place with 196.5, taking home $2,157 from West Virginia, Jody Queen. Good to see you again, Jody.
Hey, buddy.
Started to miss you, but glad you're back. So
Yeah, me too.
we'll let you talk about your weekend. Like you were right there. You know, we pull for everybody, obviously,
Yeah.
but we're spectators, and we wanted, you know, I think we had 3 more 100 bags today. So you were right there. You didn't quite make it, but you had another really good 96 3/4 to go with that 99 3/4. So
Yeah.
what did it take? You already talked about your big fish. So what were the
Yeah, I
others?
mean, the area that I was fishing was just a big fish mecca. I mean, there was this, I don't know why they were in there. I mean, it looked so much like most other parts of the lake, but they were holding in there. There was another angler who you're going to see in a minute that was in there fishing with me, and I mean, it just put out almost 100 inches a day for the last 2 days for two anglers. So they were there, and it started off my morning yesterday morning. I missed one that is probably 9 pounds. You know, it was just a swamp donkey, and but I didn't let it get me down too bad. I was mad for a while, and I bounced back and caught a couple of nice fish after that, and made me a pretty good day yesterday. Now, I pretty much did the same thing today that I did yesterday. It was mostly jackhammer. The new Evo tungstens that Z-Man has out are legit. I mean, they're just a great alternative if you want something with a little tighter wobble on it. They work great with the razor shads, and that's what I caught all my fish on for the last 2 days. But today was a little different. I had to kind of, like I said before, I had to kind of jig it and slow it down a little bit to get my bites, and it paid off a little late today. I had one fish that to the boat, and it was nothing that I did. I think it just popped out of its mouth. You know, it happens. You know, but I'm glad to be here, and appreciate everything you do, man. I'm really looking forward to next year. I know we got some Great Lakes coming up next year, and I love Caddo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably one of my favorite places. I mean, you can get out, you can go through the trees. Even if you're not catching fish, you're enjoying yourself because it's like paddling through a forest, you know.
Right.
I mean, it's beautiful. And the oil rigs, they make some of the weirdest sounds, man. You'll be sitting there and you can just hear everything going on around you. So,
I think there's something
it's
coming after
It's really
you.
cool. It's really cool. But yeah, I'm just happy to be here. I would like to thank a couple of my sponsors, Z-Man, of course, who I talked about, Dakota Lithium. The new chatterbait that I was talking about, the new jackhammers, Fishing Online has them. If you guys want to pick some up, call them up and get hooked up with them. Yak Attack, man, Hobie Eyewear this year is probably one of my favorite sponsors this year. They have done really well with getting the most comfortable glasses on my head. They never fit me.
Right.
But the Hobies do, and I've been wearing them all year, and I really, really am impressed with them. So pick up a pair of them if you can. Sniper Marine, I had a secondary pattern that I couldn't have done without my forward-facing sonar. Ended up not doing it, but their mounts are just amazing. So check out Sniper Marines. So,
all right, Joe. Appreciate you, man.
All
Good
right.
luck. Can't
Thank
wait
you.
to see you next year.
Me too.
All right, in third place with 197 inches, a half an inch better than Jody Queen, taking home $3,312 from Pennsylvania, Abby Abendanza. You're good. Yeah, but there you go. Down there. Abby, congratulations, man. Glad you made it. Glad you made it here. All right. Well, everybody, you know, we've talked about Abby on our live. You know, he's an accomplished angler across the country. Just want to give you the floor and talk about, you know, you were, again, another one of those that had 102 3/4 inches. Well, not the only, but you had the only one with that size limit. You were a day one leader. Was a little worried about you watching, you know, today, and I'm sure you were too. But
I was stressed.
Yeah, you had a key about, well, I think if my math's right, about a 5-inch cull late in the day, and then that got you up here. So we'll talk about your weekend.
I actually had 2 calls
late
in the day with a 20.5 and a 19.5. You know, Jody had talked. We had found these fish on Tuesday, and just went back and checked them on Thursday. And I got out on Tuesday for about 4 hours and had 95.5 inches in 4 hours. And Jody had caught, I think, 103 that day. And so we went back Thursday, checked them, and to add on to that, to expand to it, and found some other stuff. And we just found in one of those areas that it just kept reloading. And we both threw the Z-Man Evo tungsten. That it's legit, like you said, in the color Bama Craw, and that's the copper blade, and that's what we threw. And I didn't catch anything. All my fish came on that. So my arms are tired. So had a rough day getting here. I blew 2 tires today, so I'm thankful to be here. I didn't think I was going to make the awards, but yeah, this is just a great lake, and my first time breaking 100 inches, by the way.
Yeah.
And so that was awesome, and that happened early for me. That happened, I think, by 10:30 on yesterday. But that's a catch-22. Like I said, when you go into the day 2, and I know a lot of you guys know that, going into day 2 leading, it's stressful the night before. You start overthinking. I lost 2 really key fish today in the morning, big fish, big fish, and they just weren't eating it. And then finally I got them to eat it, and it was a later bite today for me, as you know. But yeah, I'd like to thank some of the key. First of all, I picked up my brand new trailer, Fish Texas Trailers, and Nick, the owner, he just saved me for me to be able to get here to the awards. I blew 2 tires, one going to the ramp this morning, 3 miles from the ramp, and then I blew another one. There was a piece of metal sticking out. When I backed down into a boat ramp, I guess I fell off the back of the boat ramp and it bent a piece of metal up, and it was slicing the tire. But he hurried up and changed me, and I got here. So great trailer. I'm super impressed with it. So check them out. Z-Man, obviously, Fishing Online, Z-Pro batteries, keep me powered all day and keep me going. Striker, the list goes on. Sniper, try to native. My Titan, man, I love that thing. And I'm actually going to be fishing out of the Bonafide XTR next year. So I'm excited about that too, which is a sister company to Native. And I gotta look at my shirt, 84 Lumber, Sunline, and Yeti. And but congratulations, everybody, and love this lake.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. I could just imagine your mental state being the leader, and you blow a tire to the ramp. Then you start pulling out smaller fish. So kudos to you for having the mental fortitude to stay in it and not give up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And also like to thank my girlfriend, Donna, and my family, my son, Gio, and my housemates, Jody and Matt and Corey and Casey.
All right, man.
Good times.
We appreciate you, man.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, in second place with 198 inches, this angler had 96 on day 1 and had 102 today. From Texas, Matthew Scott's taking on $4,932. That's not it. Got you. There's your trophy, my man.
I'm going to leave it there.
All right, well, good to see you, man. Matthew, obviously, I spoke about you on live earlier, just talking about how, you've been a person that's taken people in Texas in this area on the water, as a friend, and showed them the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it takes to learn how to fish across the country, is getting out on the water repetitiously. That's something you do a good job of as an ambassador to the sport. So just kind of, let you talk about, did you have history that you fished, or did you have to go hunting for something different, and just anything else you want to talk about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I got here on Thursday, had a couple days of practice, I had history here, and it was good history. I finished 3rd in the NC, had a spot that I came and checked for the first time last year, and they were in the same spot. So I felt really good about it. I knew that was just a spot that when the lake drops, the fish funnel into. and I really didn't check it in practice because in the back of my mind, I felt confident in it. And so I was looking for places to fish because I didn't know if it would hold it for 2 days. It's not a very big area. And like when you hammer on them really hard, and I didn't know who else might be fishing for them and sticking them in practice. So, yeah, I've had a good day of practice on Thursday. I felt really good about kind of like, maybe the midsection of the lake. And I thought maybe I could get a day out of that area. And so I started up there, and it was not working for me. I actually started right next to Gene first thing in the morning, and Gene was boating fish, and I was just making casts. So I was going to run north, and there was a bass boat beating that to death, and I saw him putting fish in the live well. And so my whole game plan was just kind of like just going down, first thing in the morning. And I started running. I went a long ways. I pedaled my kayak. I went 9 miles. I had one bass, a 17-incher at 12:30, and I knew that if I got down to my history, that I would catch him down there. I just knew that I just had to get down there, and I no sooner than got down there and I started putting them in the boat. It was an awesome 3 hours of fishing. I didn't catch anything big down there, but I had 5 19s.
Yeah.
And so, just solid fish that help you, move up in the standings. It was solid placing on day one. Caught them all on a spinnerbait. Caught one on a Cinco. And then day two, today, I didn't mess around. I went straight there. I started hammering on them as hard as I could. Caught them all on a spinnerbait. Started in the morning with like a spring ding style spinnerbait, like Indiana blades, red kicker on that. And then when the sun would get a little higher, the fish would get really condensed down into the darkest spots of shade. Not necessarily on the trees, but they would be wherever the sun was placing the canopy in the darkest shade. That's where those fish would set up at. And so I would burn a little bit different spinnerbait, kind of like a bluegill colored spinnerbait through those darker shade spots. And that's how I picked up my fish today.
So were you just figuring out a pattern as you were casting at those fish in those dark spots, or did you actively see them?
No, I just make a lot of casts.
Gotcha.
I mean, I cast like a fiend. I mean, that's what I like about this tournament. Is this tournament, like, to me, the reason I do well here is because I like to cast. That's fishing to me, making a lot of casts, and so it just sets up really well for how I like to fish.
Yeah. Well, good, man. We appreciate you. As I mentioned, you do a lot for the anglers when they travel, and the man's a heck of a cook if you've never been able to taste what he's got. So let you give your thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, just like Guillermo said, I want to thank Joe Lanzotti and his family for housing us this week. It was, phenomenal. We stayed at some really nice places, but the accommodations and everything that they presented us with this week was top notch. Wouldn't be standing up here without them. So definitely thank you to Joe and his family. And then, friends, family, sponsors, everybody that kind of helps out along the way. On the trailer for my spinnerbait, Excite Bait, Shad Nasty, caught almost every single one of my fish. Day one, I caught a ton of fish once I finally got down there to them. And then today, all of my bigger fish, that same Shad Nasty trailer on there, it puts them on in the boat. It's a really fantastic trailer for spinnerbait. Dakota Lithium, keeping the graphs lit up. Mariner Cells for keeping me going, keeping me on the water. And Dobbins Rods, of course, for letting me off work, letting me come up here and fish. Always got to thank them. And that's about it. But
anyway,
thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Yep.
All right. While I have everybody's attention, because it'll erupt when we get done, everybody that's here that cashed a check, please stay, congregate over there so that Mark can get you corralled and get your pictures as soon as we get this off stage and move that table. So just want to make sure I do that. So without further ado, taking home $11,335 with 198.5 inches, Georgia's Gene Jensen. Good to see you, man. Well, your dogs did it. and you
Yeah, I
cashed
haven't
a
even
check.
seen the game. I went to bed at 7:30 last night.
Sorry, Mark. Sorry.
Yeah, ruined it.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, man, let you go ahead and talk about your weekend. That's what we're
Oh,
up here
man.
for. You got a 100 belt today.
Yep.
And your day was pretty good yesterday. So let you just talk about your weekend and give your thanks.
Gosh almighty. This is, you guys know me, I'm a teacher, so I want to talk about how we found these fish in a second. But just sitting here looking at these guys out here, a lot of these guys, a lot of you are my friends, and it's just humbling. God has blessed us so much, and blessed us with good friends, good people to hang out with, and stuff like that. I like to thank my wife. She lets me do this. Every time I say her, I cry. So, been married 25 years, almost 25 years, and I knew her for 3 months when we got married. I don't suggest that, but it is what it is. I got 4 wonderful kids that love what Dad does. Love my YouTube videos. Love the fact that I love to teach people how to fish. But I love these lakes. This is the only one I fished this year. But when I saw you guys were coming to Bistineau and Caddo, I was like, I'm going to do it. Matter of fact, I think I paid before I told my wife I was going to come and do it, so she couldn't say no. But it's I love them. I love how they fish. I love them in the springtime. I love them in the fall. I love Shreveport, Bossier City, and the food. And I'm a crawfish nut. So anyway, just great. But these lakes, they're really not my comfort zone though. I'm an offshore angler. I love looking at my electronics and kind of what I learned in practice. Me and Michael, my travel partner, we traveled down here in August and pre-fished Caddo. We were all set to go to Caddo, so I got an Airbnb 80 miles from Bistineau. And so every morning we have driven to Bistineau for the tournament. That's why I went to bed at 7:30. And but I learned from that trip into this trip, and then from a tournament I fished a couple years ago with my son, is that there's I thought they were bluegill beds all over the lake in 3 to 5, 7 feet of water, depending on what part of the lake it is. Well, I marked about 150 to 200 of them in August and came back here and went and looked at them again one of my pre-fishing days, and they had moved. Some of them were gone, some of them were faded out, some of them, I figured out the bass are making those. It's not bluegill. And they're doing that because that's where they're comfortable. And so I spent the entire practice on Bistineau side scanning, looking for these what I thought were bluegill beds. And I didn't care if there were bass in it or not. A lot of times there would be bass in those beds, but I knew that by those being there, that was a comfort zone for the bass. That's where they wanted to be at the time. And those things had moved a little bit during the week of pre-fishing. And I don't know if they make them during the day. I don't know if they make them during the night. But so I would scan until I found them, and then I would make a few casts and catch a fish or whatever. And so I went through this area on Bistineau, and it's a drain. I think 5,000 acres of this lake drains into this one drain. And Joe was there. I was coming out of it. I can't remember how we met up on practice. And so we talked and we worked it all out. And my spots were in the back of that drain, and his spots were in the mouth of the drain. So it worked out great. I had a spot back there where the current coming out of that drain would go across one of those beds and push up. Well, yesterday I sat there and made 6 casts and caught 6 fish. I made 9 casts and caught 8 fish, and cold up pretty quick. Today I couldn't even get to it because of the Sylvania that was over top of it, but the fish were there. Let me put this down for a second. I got my bait in my pocket. This is not a sponsor bait. I caught every fish but one this week on a Nichols lure white spinnerbait with a white blade. I broke one today, 20-incher. I was bringing it under the net. You guys know I'm pretty proud of my net skills. But anyway, I stuck the net up underneath the 20-incher, and the spinnerbait broke, and the 20-incher went into the net. And that one had caught 40 fish, 50 fish, something like that. And I used to fish these really small piano wire spinnerbaits that were worth 4 fish, and they were done. So anyway, the coolest fish of the day was the last one. 15 minutes left. I live stream my tournaments on TikTok. I've got Starlink up on the front of my kayak, and I get to live stream. I live stream when I'm guiding or fishing in Gunnersville and stuff like that on my TikTok. But
I was live streaming and I was like, man, I started to spin out. I looked to myself, I said, and I did what I do comfortably is sit there and look at my electronics, and I was casting to certain areas, and I'm like, what am I doing? I picked up the spinnerbait. I said, I need to go hit every stump. I know I've thrown it every single one of them 5 or 6 times. I need to go hit every stump on the way out of this drain. And I pulled up on one gnarly stump and I threw, and the trick today was the first few bass I caught hit the spinnerbait, the trailer hook on the spinnerbait. So I knew they were off a little bit. They weren't getting it good. I found out that you had to bump every stick and every tree, or you had to 2 turns pass it, kill it, and let it drop to the bottom, and they would pick it up right as it got to the bottom. And so I saw this gnarly tree and I threw up into it, or it was a root ball. But anyway, threw up into it, brought it around the side, bumped it, and it went sideways. And I was like, and those Cast King rods, I know you guys hear Cast King, and I know the reputation that Cast King has, but I signed with them this year after 13 went away to Rapala. And that son of a gun, that swim bait rod that I had that spinnerbait on, you could muscle these fish. They would be heading towards a tree, and you could muscle them out with that Seaguar fluorocarbon. I had 17-pound fluorocarbon on there. I think I had a B.A.S.S because that's typically what I fish around this kind of stuff. But you could muscle them out and not even worry about it. These 20 and 21 inchers, it was no problem just trying to force them to get out of that. And that rod had the guts to do it. But you know, and it was, that fish was just the coolest thing. It was like the whole world was okay then anyway. And I still hadn't, the leaderboard was off, so I didn't know what Scotch had. I figured he had upgraded at least a little bit. So to make the longest story a little bit shorter, I'd like to thank my sponsors. First of all, Bonafide. That PWR, when I was working with Hans to design it, we designed it to be able to do this type of fishing. Steer with a pedal while you're making as many casts as you can. You put that XI3 up front, put it on 5 or 6, and just steer around these trees and make it cast on both sides. And it makes the world a whole lot more efficient by being able to do that and being able to power it up. I know the XI3 is going away. It's now Lowrance, so my sponsor motor guide is now Lowrance. But that motor is great. But my Lowrance electronics were good. The side scan's great, helps me find those beds. Yak Attack, they got a lot of really cool stuff. And you guys, if you've looked at my boat, it's the most over-rigged, craziest boat there is, and I'm unapologetic about it. It's being able to put things where they go is just, or where they need to go to get out of the way is important. Let me go through my sponsors real quick. JJ's Magic, my oldest sponsor, love him to death. I've been with him for almost 16 years, and it was, he's just a really good friend of mine anyway. JJ's Magic, Cast King rods, reels. These sunglasses are really good. Real Tree Fishing. I love the camouflage. Look at these freaking cool Crocs right here. They look just like they're the same camo that's on my truck. I saw those. I had to get them. But let's see. I already talked about Seaguar. I'm not sponsored by Z-Man, but I'm gonna echo the tungsten deal. That new tungsten Evo is legit. I mean, it starts up on the slightest little turn of that handle, and that's what I love about it. And I did a review video where the sound is a lot different than the jackhammer. But again, thanks my wife. Thank the good Lord for blessing us to be able to do this, and I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, G.
Thanks, man.
Cheers. All right, everybody, that wraps up our 5th event of the season. Thank you all for such a great and positive weekend. Our next event is, hopefully coming out as soon as we can. We're working hard to get our schedule, as I mentioned. I want to thank, Shreveport for hosting us, Louisiana Downs for letting us be in here this week. Shreveport Bossier City Sports Commission has been really, really good. So if you've got any more questions that you need, or you want to see what happened this weekend, head on over to the Bassmaster webpage to check out the media gallery, as I mentioned. That's where the really good article from Abby on day one that Chris Decker did is there. That's something you need to read. We appreciate those clicks that you all put over there. Just been, super blessed to be a part of this community this week and just seeing the camaraderie. And as you all mentioned, the good food and things like that. And as I mentioned, I've talked to a lot of you about building our schedule. So some of you know where we're going and where I'm trying to go. Hopefully the next time we talk, we'll have that done. Other than that, I'll see you in 2025. Everyone, have a happy Thanksgiving, your Merry Christmases, Happy New Year, whatever the case may be for you. We appreciate your holiday spirit and everything that you do. Want to go through the sponsors one last time: Motor Guide, Yak Gear, Attorney X, Dakota Lithium for the Angler of the Year, and our title sponsor, Yamaha Right Waters. This season has been smooth. We all like how our registration's set up, and we thank you for telling us that. I couldn't do that on the road without the people that help. Clint Pippen's always been a help. A lot of you have helped put hands on these things to pack them away. Brad Case, Lance McWhirter, Daniel Davis, Bethany Rango, Kuth Toy. We always got to give kudos to Mark so we can keep him around. He does a phenomenal job with the photography. And so bless you all back home. Appreciate you. Y'all be safe getting back, and we'll see y'all in 2025.